我不允许男人身上有钱，每个月工资到账转给我。
I do not allow a man to have money. As soon as your salary is deposited, you must transfer all of it to me immediately. If you want to make this marriage work, I have a few points to address. First, communication. I believe that no matter what happens, husband and wife should maintain smooth communication, especially about the little things in life. If there's a problem, it must be communicated in a timely manner, and you should never avoid it. Each person's attitude is also very important, especially the attitude towards life, which must be serious and thoughtful. We need to put effort into managing our parent-child relationship and family relationship, rather than doing things in a perfunctory manner or half-heartedly. If you are always lazy and absent-minded, then every day will be meaningless. Life should have goals, depth, and not be something we just get through casually. Secondly, I have made clear arrangements for finances. I do not allow a man to have money. As soon as your salary is deposited, you must transfer all of it to me immediately. This is not me asking for it, but you should proactively give it to me. You cannot wait for me to ask for money after your salary is deposited. You should give it to me proactively. I have mentioned this point many times, and I hope you can take it seriously. Whether I ask for your salary or you voluntarily hand it over, the result is the same. So why should you make me unhappy by not doing it, right? You said everything for the child at home. Weren't they all chosen by me and bought by me? Although the money is yours, isn't the thought process mine? Next is the issue of the child's education. As parents, I ask you to actively and thoughtfully accompany the child. Stop giving him the phone to play with. Children under 3 years old are not suitable to be exposed to electronic products. Do you know that? If you truly care about the child's education, you should proactively accompany him, play with him, and grow together with him, rather than letting him play with the phone on his own. Since we chose to bring the child into this world, we need to take responsibility for him, take good care of him, and provide him with a healthy, positive environment for growth. Finally, regarding the issue of our current long-distance work situation, I hope you can resolve it within 3 years. You need to find various ways to shorten the distance between us, to manage our relationship, and not let this issue drag on. During this period, we should minimize unnecessary silent treatment and cold wars, support each other, and be more committed to managing everything for the sake of our family and our child's future. I hope you remember the points I mentioned, especially the one about you proactively handing over your entire salary to me every month.
把工资全部包括你老板全部上交给媳妇的人是傻屌。
A man who hands over all his salary to his wife is basically a fool, a big fool. There are many cases like this, and the results are almost always the same. The man works hard, does not smoke, drink, gamble, or waste money, and hands over his entire salary to his wife, to the woman. But in the end, he is betrayed by the woman. Many women, after taking all his money, still cheat. As for women's mentality, I have mentioned before that women say they want a man who has good character, a correct worldview, does not smoke, does not drink, does not waste money, has no bad habits, can cook when he comes home, has a stable income, and hands over his entire salary to her. Do you think they really consider this the standard for a good man? Wrong. This is just something they say. The real situation is completely different. I have specifically conducted surveys, and women who are financially independent and in good circumstances, even those who consider themselves very independent, believe that a man who hands over his salary to his wife is a wimp. They look down on such men. You need to understand how these women view such men. They think that if you, as a man, earn 10,000 yuan but hand it all over to your wife, leaving only 100 yuan in your pocket, that's nothing. You are a failure. If something happens outside, you can't even take out any money, you're just a loser. This is the real evaluation of men who hand over their entire salary to their wives. The evaluation is very negative. Some women even say if you have 500,000 yuan in savings, you can show her. If she understands your good intentions and is grateful, that's fine. But if you hand over the entire 500,000 yuan to her, and she is not grateful, instead she takes the money and runs off with another man, disappearing without a trace, this kind of situation does happen. I have many friends who have such experiences. Some men hand over their entire salary to their wives, and in the end she doesn't even look back, just leaves, and the man is left alone. In short, brothers, you must remember this. Once you hand over all your money to a woman, it means you're not far from trouble. Not only do women know to keep a backup for themselves, but men should do the same. Look at those martial arts masters on TV, every one of them has a killer move. They always save this move for the most critical moment, so they can protect themselves. And there's a saying, brothers, you must remember, money is for women to see. Money is not for women to spend. You can give her a small portion of your money to spend, but never hand over control of your money to a woman. If she sees you have 500,000 yuan in savings, she will think of ways to get this money. She will keep treating you well. Brothers, do you believe this? Once that 500,000 yuan is in her hands, she will immediately abandon you. I'm not saying that all women will act like this, but at least 50% of them will do this. Some men should not try to please women by handing over every penny they've worked hard for every month. Always remember this. Once your entire salary is handed over to a woman, you're not far from trouble.
结婚以后，收入该不该上交给老婆管的问题。
The question of whether a wife should manage the household income after marriage is one I have been asked many times. Many women believe that if the husband behaves well, listens, and obeys management, his income should be handed over to his wife to manage after marriage. Personally, I do not agree with this view. I believe this is actually a false dilemma. I think the question of who should manage the income does not depend on who has a higher status in the family, nor does it prove who is in a more dominant position. The real factor that determines this is a person's financial management ability, whether or not you have the ability to manage money. If you have strong financial management skills, for example, you have very successful investment experience, financial management experience, or you are very adept at managing funds, then of course you can manage the money. You need to have that ability. However, managing money is not just about simply handling accounts. It also involves many responsibilities and obligations. For instance, utility bills, gas bills, various expenses for children, travel expenses, daily mortgage and car loan payments, expenses for giving red envelopes to elderly relatives during holidays, savings, children's education funds, insurance, etc. All of these need to be planned and managed properly. Do you have the ability to handle these matters? If so, then there is no problem letting you manage the money. However, I do not think the solution is for the wife to manage all of her husband's income and then give him only 200 yuan, 500 yuan, or 1,000 yuan as pocket money each month. From my observation of the people around me, I have never seen a brother who, with his income completely under his wife's management, has achieved success or done anything great. Most of my friends manage their own income. Although their wives may help manage some of the money, the final decision-making power still lies with them. This is because their earning power is usually far higher than their wives. So, why would a man who earns several times more than his wife let someone who has never earned money manage it? It's like an employee in a company telling the CEO, "You must listen to me. I call the shots." How is that even possible? It's simply unrealistic, right? Therefore, I think that men who are willing to hand over the management of money to their wives, if their wives do not possess particularly strong financial management skills, must be weak, lacking confidence, and incapable. They are destined to never achieve anything significant in life. Socializing costs money. You go out to meet friends, attend gatherings, or even just bring a small gift or arrange a meal or social event. These all require money. If the wife controls everything too strictly and monitors every aspect of the finances, even limiting some of your spending or socializing, it's like restricting your development as a man and your social circle. It limits your potential growth opportunities. I believe that if a woman wants her husband to achieve something, she should trust him enough and give him some space, rather than controlling all his financial activities. Unless, of course, you are doing it solely for your so-called sense of security, in order to prevent your husband from doing things that make you feel uneasy. In that case, I have no further comments, but I believe this is not a healthy marriage dynamic. It's a form of control, a kind of mental imprisonment. Such a relationship feels more like a cage than a marriage.
收入太高的男人你都管不住，谁来都管不住。
When a man's income is very high, almost no woman can fully control him, whether his income is in the tens of millions or just in the hundreds of thousands or millions. Generally speaking, once a man's income reaches a certain level, he will have enough independence and resources to free himself from his wife's financial management demand. Women who excessively control their husband's income will only make him increasingly incapable. The wise men don't need to be controlled at all. The men who can be controlled by women are often those who lack ability. A man with great ambitions can never be controlled by a woman. The obedient men seem harmless, but in fact, most of them don't have any special talent. Truly capable men, whether they are emperors, entrepreneurs, or business elites, are not successful because they were controlled by women. These men are strong-willed and possess leadership qualities. They can control their own lives and careers, and are not dependent on others' control or orders. Before many women talk about how to manage their husbands, they should first think about what value they can provide for their partners. If you cannot offer sufficient support or benefits to your husband, then you should not make excessive demands. The so-called emotional counseling and how to control a man courses in the market are actually deceiving immature women and inexperienced young people. Can you really control a capable man? Do you have enough wisdom, thinking, cognitive abilities, and even economic strength? If not, all of this is impossible. Unless you are stronger than those successful men I mentioned, then you can control your man. Because you have market competitiveness. But do most women really have this ability? Marriage is not a management and being managed relationship. It should be an equal partnership. Men bear enormous pressure from their careers and work hard to earn income. When a man brings his earnings back home, that is already his greatest contribution to the family. A man works hard not to give his wife the power to control his finances. On the contrary, as a wife, you should give him some freedom, so that after he fights for the family outside, he can rest and find peace at home. Many women have already received their husband's efforts and contributions, and should learn to be content, instead of being endlessly dissatisfied. Human nature tends to be greedy, and the wisest thing a woman can do is to let her husband feel relaxed and free at home. This is also an invisible contribution. A truly considerate woman will not interfere with everything a man does. She will give him freedom, allowing him to feel that home is a peaceful haven. For example, the ancient Chinese hero Xiang Yu, the king of Western Chu, deeply loved his concubine, Yu Ji. Yu Ji was able to win Xiang Yu's love because she was the one who understood him the most. Women love heroes the most, and heroes also need a woman who can understand their inner world. In a marriage, control and nagging only make the man drift further away from you. I hope that women can become their husbands' confidants, rather than just controllers.
姑娘，如果你每个月只能挣3、4千块钱，你老公能挣5000。
Girl, if your monthly income is only 4,000 yuan, and your husband can earn 5,000 yuan or 8,000 yuan, you might think that you should manage the family finances, and that would be fine. However, if you earn only 4,000 yuan a month, or even if you're a full-time housewife with no income, and your husband earns 30,000 to 50,000 yuan or more per month, I suggest you carefully consider whether you should still manage the family finances. It's not that I'm saying you can't manage it, but you truly may not have the capability to manage the financial power. You see, if your monthly income is only 4,000 yuan, it suggests that your cognitive level is only at that level. While this might sound a bit harsh, if your cognition could reach 30,000 to 50,000 yuan, then you would have the ability to earn that amount yourself. Why would you be struggling every day with whether you should manage your husband's money? Especially in today's economic climate, if your husband earns several tens of thousands of yuan a month, it shows that he is highly capable. With his wisdom and talent, the family's wealth might grow more under his management. But if you take that money, it could shrink, or worse, it might be gone tomorrow. For example, if you and your best friend go shopping in high-end malls buying unnecessary luxury goods, various cosmetics, or sign up for all sorts of yoga classes, this money won't be enough to cover your expenses. Don't be stubborn and say that you're still very frugal, because you truly haven't experienced the hardship and pressure of earning so much money. So, to you, that money might seem like it's blowing in with the wind, and you'll spend it very quickly. Girl, If you think you must manage the money, and that you can't survive without doing so, then you might be better off with someone whose income is comparable to yours. If both of you have similar incomes, you can reasonably share the household chores and financial pressure, and that would be perfectly fine. Don't complain, thinking that you won't feel secure unless your husband gives you all the money. Have you considered whether your husband would feel secure if he earned tens of thousands of yuan a month and handed all the money to you? Girl, if you're able to find a husband who earns a lot, you should really feel fortunate. Don't keep fantasizing about having him obediently give you all the money.
A man should never hand over all of his money to a woman. It's fine to let her manage part of the money, but not all of it. Many women might say that they feel insecure if they don't control the money. But I want to ask, if you control all of the man's money, does he feel secure? What if you take the money and disappear, running off with someone else? Don't say, "Oh, I wouldn't do that." The man can also say, "I wouldn't betray you, so why don't you trust him?" Trust needs a premise, and that premise is that there should be mutual constraints. I believe security should be given mutually. You can't ignore the other person's sense of security just for the sake of your own. I once saw a news story about a 45-year-old husband who married a wife 10 years younger than him. Shortly after they got married, the wife claimed she was being treated unfairly and insisted on managing the husband's money. The husband earned more than 500,000 yuan a year and spent only around 20,000 yuan himself, with the rest of the money all handed over to his wife. The wife used the husband's money to invest in a business. She turned out to have good financial knowledge. After a few years of marriage, her income gradually surpassed her husband's. At this point, the wife started to find excuses to argue with him, refusing to be intimate, and eventually they separated. Later, the wife suddenly pressured her husband for a divorce, with all the terms in her favor, such as full custody of the children and the cash assets, to be kept separately. The man had no money left because he had handed everything over to his wife. Moreover, the money he used to support his parents-in-law also came from him alone. At this point, the man was helpless. He had worked hard to cultivate his wife and had increased their family income, only to find out she was about to become someone else's wife. The failure in this case lies in the fact that the man did not maintain a balance in the marriage, overly indulging his wife in an effort to give her a sense of security, while forgetting to secure his own sense of safety. Friends, would you hand over all your money to a woman to manage? Feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Your support is very important to us, and we will continue to bring you better programs. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.